Friends, I welcome you to my channel. Before listening to this story, I will ask you to like and subscribe. It is not difficult for you, but it is pleasant for me. And we're starting. She approached the table with a nervous smile. She was still as beautiful as ever, with shoulder-length auburn hair, blue eyes, and a slight figure. Yes, she was the most beautiful woman on earth. She is best described as graceful, but she shouldn't be here. I was promised she wouldn't be here. I think they lied to me, as they have been doing for several months. I should have known in advance. I must be terribly naive. Hi, Paul, can we talk? She tried desperately not to cry. What do you need, Christy? I want you to come back. I know I screwed up. I just need to talk to you. I don't want to talk. In your opinion, talking is when I sit and listen, while I don't have the opportunity to say anything myself. I'm done talking, especially to you. I got up and went to the host of the party, ignoring the woman who used to be my wife. John and Amanda finally decided to tie the knot, and it was their wedding party. They were the last of our little group to get married. Christy and I were the first, and our marriage broke up 6 months ago. I caught her cheating. I think I was only needed to sign checks and pay her bills. Amanda saw me coming first and grabbed John's arm. They were talking to Aaron and Michelle, the other couple in our group. All 4 of them promised me that they wouldn't talk to her anymore, and that she wouldn't be here. Just a few more lies. They lied when they said they didn't know anything about her cheating. They were covering for her so she would have an alibi. Now they lied to me about her not being here, even after everything that happened. The other 3 of them looked up and saw me coming. It should have ended here and now. You just had to invite her, didn't you? After what she did, and after the way she treated me, are you still friends with her? I was angry. Look, Paul, we know you're angry, but it's time to end this farce and move in together again. We all know that you still love her. Amanda stepped forward this time. Yes, Paul, she's learned her lesson and won't do it anymore. John had to support his new bride. Paul, it's time for you to swallow your pride, gain strength, and return to it. I think there was anger in those words. Michelle and Christy have been best friends all through high school. Do you all think so? Everyone nodded their heads enthusiastically. Okay. They all looked slightly discouraged as I turned on my heel and walked up to the stage where the band was playing soft rock music. I went over and took the microphone from the soloist. The band stopped playing and everyone turned to look at the stage and then focused on me. Hello, everyone. My name is Paul, and I would like to tell you all about my friends John and Amanda. Not only about them, but also about Aaron and Michelle. I turned and smiled at them. I called them friends, but would real friends lie to you when your wife is cheating on you? Would they cover for her when she disappeared from the party for half an hour? Would they have been idle, and would your wife have allowed you to rake out the coals during the divorce? Will good friends stand up for you when your wife tells the judge that you are a cruel and treacherous husband? Will they show sympathy when you have to give your unfaithful wife 80% of your total assets and pay $600 in alimony? Would they have done that? Would they use your wife behind your back? I saw the confused expressions on Michelle and Amanda's faces. Oh, ha ha ha, you didn't know? My ex-wife, I pointed to Christy, was making love to my supposed best friends Aaron and John. They used my wife together. I think my invitation to that party was lost. Of course, their wives still didn't know about it. Don't worry, I have photos. But Michelle and Amanda shouldn't judge them. In fact, Michelle let me know about Christy's cheating. Michelle gave me a sharp look. One evening, after drinking too much, she let slip that my dear and faithful wife was walking behind my back. Imagine my shock. But then she realized that she had let it slip and tried to convince me otherwise. I can say that she worked hard to minimize the consequences, but I didn't buy it. This led me to find a private investigator specializing in cheating, and I got hours of videos and photos. It all turned out to be a waste of money, considering that now I'm a wife, abusing asshole. At least that's what my ex-wife told the judge at our hearing. But still, I saved the photos. I pulled out my phone and started showing photos. Besides, the highly respected devoted Michelle has been making love to John for the last 3 months. I stopped for a moment to let everyone realize this. John and Aaron looked angry, and Michelle looked demoralized. Amanda looked like she was going to get sick. I guess there's only Amanda left. Oh, sweet Amanda, who's been using some guy named Ryan for at least a year. The same Amanda who, when Christie went to use another guy in the bathroom, tried to approach me as a distraction. Of course, I refused her because I loved my wife. Although she probably did it for fun. Who wants to use a fat guy, right? Wait, I'm not a fat guy anymore? It's amazing how much gut-ripping by your 4 best friends, and your wife does wonders for your diet. We're not done yet. No, now my ex-wife wants me to come back. A cruel, treacherous, fat husband is persuaded to return by his ex-wife. Why, oh why? I thought she was happy that I left her. She has most of my money. She has my house and my car. Why the fuck would she want me to come back? Let's ask her. Well, darling, do you want to explain why you need me to come back? I handed her the microphone and just stared at her. This time she was in front of everyone and in the center. She was shaking. She was so scared. She almost looked like she was ready to give up. She took a deep breath and closed her eyes. When they opened, she had a new kind of determination. The fear was still present, but it was under control. Paul, I love you. I made the biggest mistake of my life when I cheated on you. I hurt you. I hurt you. And I betrayed you in the worst way possible. To make matters worse, I made you pay for what I did. I can't even tell you how sorry I am. I have no idea how I can make it up to you. I do not know how I can get you to trust me again, but I will spend the rest of my life trying. Even if you don't want me anymore, I'll still try. I'll do whatever you ask me to do. Anything? Anything. I lowered the microphone and thought for a second. You're going to swallow it all this time, just like all your other lovers. She smiled, grabbed my arm, and pulled me away. She was a little embarrassed when I didn't move. No, I mean right here, in front of everyone. Do you want my forgiveness? Do you want to be with me? Are you saying that you love me? Then start showing it in front of all these people. Christy looked around nervously. I took her by surprise with my request. What's wrong, dear? It's bigger than I remember. It's like you've grown about 8 centimeters. Not quite that much, but it happens when you lose a lot of weight. Wow, I'm not sure I can take it all in. You have no idea how much I like that you said that. Now suck it, dear. John came up behind me and put his hand on my shoulder. Paul, don't make her do this. Today is my wedding night. Don't touch me anymore, you piece of shit. His hand instantly slipped off my shoulder. If you touch me again, I'll show your parents the photo of you and Aaron doing double penetration on my wife. He looked at me in surprise. Yes, asshole, I also shot a video. Although it seems to be too late. Amanda already knows about this. Amanda, and even Michelle looked angry. Don't worry about it, baby. Imagine how angry I was when I found out that she made it to all her lovers. So early? She seemed disappointed. I'm sorry, baby. No woman has touched me for more than a year. Really, neither a friend nor anyone else? Nobody. Oh my God, what have I done? Tears were streaming down her cheeks. I couldn't be sure, but I think they were tears of regret. She was working faster and faster. Everyone applauded our little show. She stood up and I kissed her. Most guys don't like to kiss girls after they swallow their load. I'm not most guys. Now I see it. What a fool I was. What's next? She smiled. I whispered something in her ear, and she nodded excitedly. She liked my idea of getting back at the 2 assholes who were still looking at us. She walked up to the 2 ladies, and I walked next to her. Michelle, Amanda, are you still my friends? Yes, friends. Brothers are more important than cheaters. Everyone started laughing. Will you help me get my husband back? We will do everything to help. Anything? Anything. They both smiled and looked at me. Paul has a dream to use 3 girls at the same time. He wants this to happen to the 3 of us. Will you do this for us? Yes, we will do it. When? Amanda was even more worried. I think she decided it was fair to repay. Right now. He wants us right now. John rushed forward and pushed me. He was angry. I don't think he knew what he was getting into. You can't use my wife on our wedding night. I can't? Huh. It seems like you didn't care about my marriage when you used my wife. Look, Paul, I'm sorry, but this is our wedding night. I won't let that happen. He tried to embarrass me with a look, but I didn't give up. It will happen, and it will continue until I am satisfied. If you try to stop me, I'll kick your ass. And then I'll sue you as the reason for the family split. I'll grab your ass. I think his anger got the better of him because he took a swing at me. I easily dodged his clumsy attempt. He was unlucky. I punched him in the diaphragm. He lost his breath and balance. While he was lying on the ground, gasping for air, I knelt down and whispered in his ear, "I'll use your wife as much as I want. She'll move in with me until I'm done with her. You'll be patient. If you even talk to her, I'll crush you. Everything you have will be mine." I doubt she'd want to be left with a piece of shit like you without money. "Don't worry. I'll treat her much better than you treated my wife, you little bastard." I stood up and looked at Aaron. "Will there be a problem with you?" Aaron shook his head. "Okay, you'll make the same deal as him. Your wife will move in with me until I'm done with her. If you try to contact her, you will become poor," I said calmly, then turning to John. "Besides, if you try anything, I'll send this picture of you two to everyone you know. I'll retouch my wife's face, but you two will be in the foreground and in the center. I am sure that your mother will be very disappointed with the activities of their sons." I shifted my gaze to the three girls behind me. They were shocked at how easily I stopped John's attempts to stop me. I forgot to mention that I lost weight by joining the gym where boxers train. I've been training for 7 months. "Do you agree with the conditions that I have set for them?" Amanda looked at her husband with disdain. "When should I move?" "Tonight. I need to get rid of the frustration that has accumulated over the years." "What about you, Michelle?" She walked over to Aaron. "You didn't even fight for me. I know you'd probably get your ass kicked, but at least you could try. I've lost all respect for you." She turned to me. "I'll do it. The only problem is that I won't have a husband for a long time. You can stay with us as long as you want." Christy seemed thrilled that her two best friends were moving in with us. "Okay, let's go." "Oh, yes, Amanda. Take your dress with you. I have another fantasy, to use my friend's wife in her wedding dress." Amanda smiled, and we walked through the crowd of people to the car. "What's the plan?" Christy asked. "To push out of consciousness the heavy memories and move on." All three of them laughed at Amanda's joke. "No, I meant for today." "What's the plan?" "Take clothes for a couple of days. Then spend the next few days making Paul's dream come true." "I think he's suffered enough," Michelle said. "Can't we get some clothes later?" "I really want to use Amanda in her wedding dress," and I said, "Clothes first, then we'll go back to our old house." "You still live there, right?" "Yes, although it's been very lonely since you left. I'm glad you're coming back with me." "I never expected to come back. I'm not really sure I want to do this, but I said I'd give you a chance, and I still intend to do it." I fell silent. The pain was coming back again. She was seeping into my heart again. I had to stop for a second. So many things have happened in the last few minutes that I didn't even know what I was doing anymore. Fortunately, Christy understood what I was thinking. "Then let's not go there. We'll go somewhere else. Let's go to your father's cabin by the lake. It is quite large and secluded. We can do almost anything we want there. Why don't we split up and meet outside your house, Paul? Then we can go to the hut." "It's a good idea, but I won't let you out of my sight." "Then I'll come with you." "Girls, take my car. We'll meet at Paul's in an hour. Then we'll drive Paul's car to the cabin." She handed Michelle the keys, and we parted. Christy slipped into the passenger seat and watched me get into the driver's seat. I started the car and drove out of the parking lot. I must have had a worried expression on my face. "Paul, I know you're taking a lot of risks doing this. I can't tell you how happy you make me. I know that nothing is certain yet, and all this may be meaningless, but I'm still glad that you're giving me this chance." We got home in record time. We went in, and she packed 2 suitcases with clothes, even took some nightgowns. We got back into the car about 10 minutes later. On the way, Christy decided to get ahead of the other girls. Before I even had time to think, she was already on my lap, facing me. "I won't let them take you first. I was a fool once, but I won't be anymore. Damn it, this is amazing. I can't believe it." She couldn't finish the sentence. Our eyes met, and she began to cry. I saw the remorse on her face. Complete regret flooded her eyes. She was lost in sadness. To finally see her pain was amazing. It took me by surprise, and what was more surprising was that my pain started to melt away. I hugged her and pulled her into a passionate kiss. I just wanted to ease her pain. I felt hot tears stinging my cheeks. Now I have made a decision. This misery that we were both in was going to end tonight, and I was going to take back what was mine. I plunged into its warm depths. She just looked into my eyes, and I could tell she was on edge. She sucked in a sharp breath and shuddered in my lap. Her nails dug into my skin again. I'm sure I'll have scratches after that. What the hell was that? It was so strong. A knock on the driver's door window brought us back to reality. We both started and saw two smiling faces. Michelle and Amanda were smiling cheekily at us. I rolled down the window. It was the hottest thing I've ever seen. I think we should spend the night here and go to the cabin tomorrow, Michelle said with such a lustful look. I suddenly had a sinking feeling. After what we had just shared, I wasn't sure if taking them with me was the right thing to do. I had what I wanted, and I didn't want to ruin it. Give us a minute, okay? Here's the key to my apartment. I threw the keys out the window. Don't stay too long, Amanda said when they reached my house. I turned to Christy and looked into her eyes. She was smiling from ear to ear, but I had my doubts about all this. Christy, after what we just shared, I am now sure that I love you deeply. I don't want to hurt you, and if you don't want to take them with you, we won't do it. I know how it feels, and I wouldn't wish that feeling on my worst enemy. Well, maybe only to the worst enemy. But I don't want to put you through this. Christy stopped me by kissing me. She pulled back and smiled at me. You're so cute. Even after everything I've done to you, you're still trying to be a good husband. I love you for that, but you deserve it. You deserve to have 3 beautiful women like us give you pleasure. We were ready when you wanted to use us for your pleasure. I don't care if I have to share you for the rest of my life, as long as I have you. In fact, I shouldn't even be here. I should have been in that old house, sitting alone with my misfortunes. And yet it is not so. I am here with you because your heart is so big and full of kindness and love that you saw fit to let me be here. I used to drain your love and take away your kindness before. Now I'm going to fill you with love and give you kindness. I want to share this with you, and I want to give you all the pleasure I can. So let's go inside and make love to 2 more beautiful women. We kissed, and I opened the door. Christy tried to get up and leave, but I held her tightly to me. She looked at me sheepishly. I just smiled and got out of the car. I slammed the door with my foot and pressed the lock button. The first step made me move slightly inside her. She chuckled happily as I moved towards the front door. Every step made me slip out of it and then move back in. Christy was moaning and breathing deeply. She hugged me tightly, and her lips found my shoulder. We reached the steps to my apartment, and on the first one she bit me. It was more than she could bear, and I felt her pouring out on me again. I thought maybe I had killed her, but I could still hear her breathing fast. I thought for a second that I'd lost you. You almost did it. It was supernatural. I never knew it could be like this. It's all a pleasure, and I can't help but think it's a dream. That I'd wake up tomorrow and be alone again. That's not going to happen. I'll be with you, and I think Michelle and Amanda will be with us too. Yeah, we definitely will, Amanda said, peeking out. Now come into this house, or we'll just drag you in. Amanda was wearing her wedding dress. I had to admit that she really looked beautiful in it. Her long brown hair and slender body could be admired. It was small in the chest area, probably the size of the second. Almost like Christy, only taller. She has brown eyes, but who doesn't love girls with brown eyes? I carried Christy up the stairs. She screamed softly at every step. It was so sweet. I never knew she made such sounds. I entered the apartment and was immediately directed to the sofa. I gently laid Christy down on the sofa, and then I was advised to sit next to her. Your overall taste is quite pleasant, Amanda said. You should try it from the other side. This idea excited me. I think my reaction didn't go unnoticed. It looks like someone liked this idea. I'm wearing my dress, just like you asked. I think it's time for you to give me what you gave her. I'm not quite sure I wanted to do that, and I looked at Christy. She smiled and nodded. I stood up and picked Amanda up from the floor. I sat her down on the couch and gathered the dress around her waist. Christy had a wide, knowing smile on her face, and Michelle looked like she'd seen a ghost. Amanda sat down with a kind of satisfied smile and tried to catch her breath. Where the hell did you learn that? Sorry, ladies, it's a trade secret. She smiled again and nodded. You're full of surprises tonight. It was the craziest thing I've ever done, Michelle gasped. I didn't know you were so strong. I've been working on it, I said with a grin. Amanda ran up to us impatiently and Michelle told her to lie across the couch. I looked at Christie, and she looked like she had been left out of work. I motioned for her to join me. She obediently came up to me with a smile. She didn't waste a second and happily jumped up on the edge of the sofa, climbed onto the armrest and leaned back. We all collapsed onto the couch. Christie sat on my lap and hugged me. We kissed lazily while resting. It was late and I was exhausted, so I thought it would be good to go to bed. With the last of my strength, I picked up Christie and carried her to my bedroom. Amanda and Michelle followed me. We all lay down and cuddled up to each other. Christie lay on top of me on my stomach. It was so light that I didn't have any problems. I heard the light snoring of 3 people, and then I flew away to the land of dreams. I was woken up by sunlight coming through the window. To my sad realization, I was alone, naked and covered with a blanket. I could still feel Christie's body on me, and the fact that she wasn't there made me feel empty. Was it just a one-night stand? Is she done with me now? And what about the other 2? Are they gone forever too? All my fears were dispelled when I heard voices coming from the kitchen. My apartment was small and original. The front door opened into the living room, and on the other side was the kitchen. The hall, which had 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, was right in the middle, separating 2 larger rooms. I sat up, got out of bed, put on sweatpants and a t-shirt. I heard what they were talking about, and it intrigued me. I couldn't see the hallway from the kitchen, so I decided to go to the corner and listen. The sweet smell of coffee wafted to my nose and almost made me leave, but Amanda's question made me think twice. How crazy it was last night. The best night of my life. So you're really going to divorce him? That's a good question, Christie. Hell yes. That bastard cheated on me first. That's why I started cheating. Now that I've been with a man who can really please a woman, I'm not going to settle for anything less. And don't, Michelle. I hope you're not going to try to steal Paul from me. Dear Christie, they won't be able to in a million years. What kind of friend would she be if she did that? Certainly not me. That's right too, Michelle. Speaking of sleeping with our guys, how did you end up with John and Aaron at the same time? This is the story that I would like to hear. Well, it happened right before Paul caught me having an affair. I thought I had a lot of fun and everything was perfect. Then I noticed something. Christie paused. What is it? Both girls asked enthusiastically. I wasn't thrilled. I was only thrilled with Paul. He wasn't very good in bed at the time, and he was overweight, but he could cheer me up. He knew what to say when I was sad. He always made me feel like a queen. Then I noticed a change in him. He was depressed, and he wasn't joking anymore. There were so many things going through my head about what was wrong. Then I realized what was wrong. I was the reason for everything. I left him out. I scolded him all the time. I regularly humiliated him. I was a Class A fool to him. No wonder he felt like shit. I made him like this, me and no one else. When I realized what I was doing, it made me feel sick. I hated myself. How could I do this to the sweetest, kindest, most loving man on the planet? Of course, he had his flaws, but what I did to him was unforgivable. So, I vowed to put an end to everything and become the most amazing and most faithful wife in history. I was going to give everything I had to keep it. Then one day John showed up at my job. He had pictures of me with other men. I almost threw up. Then he threatened to show them to Paul if I didn't meet him at his house. I was afraid that I would lose Paul, so I agreed. I didn't know what would happen to him and Aaron until I found him there. They used me. Bastards. They called me names and hurt me in every possible way. They hurt me so badly that the only man I've allowed to touch me since then is Paul. I hate them both. When Paul hit John in the ribs the last time that evening, I took great pleasure in seeing him suffer. I promised myself that they would both get a double dose of this pain when I found them again. They were his friends. Christie, we didn't know they did it. I am so sorry. Amanda has a big heart. It's okay. Paul is back, hopefully now forever. He will protect me. Plus, the way he made love to me last night erased my fear of his touch. He was fucking amazing last night. I do not know how he learned all these tricks, but I would not mind another round with him. Michelle seemed happy. Hey, you promised. I know. I just said that he would always be welcome in my bed. I wish I knew where he learned to do all this. He played on my body like a violin. I grinned and turned the corner. I read the book. All 3 jumped when I spoke. A very special book written by a woman. She has hundreds of techniques on how to make a woman achieve this, such a special moment of bliss. They all giggled when I wrinkled my face to say the last few words. Where did you find this book? Michelle asked. She gave it to me herself. I told her what my plan was, and she wanted to help. She said that what I planned to do was inspiring. I think it helped more than I could have hoped, I suggested. What's the plan? Christy asked. My plan is to get you back. I was going to do everything I could to get you back. That's why I started boxing and getting in shape. I read this book 4 times to make sure that I understood everything correctly. If you wanted me to come back, why did you divorce me? I wasn't smiling anymore. I knew this question would come up. I walked over to Christy, ignoring the empty chair next to her. I carefully picked her up and sat down, putting her on my lap. I hugged her and hugged her tightly. When I asked to follow you. In those last 2 weeks, the detective took videos and photos of you with John and Aaron. She tensed, but I held her even tighter. I was so angry that I ignored the pain that was clearly written on your face. I thought I'd lost you, that now I don't have the opportunity to please you. So I called my lawyer and started acting. When John invited me to the wedding, I told him I didn't want you there. If I see him, I'll break up with him. And last night you showed up, and anger flared up in me again. I did the same thing they did. I took advantage of you at a vulnerable moment. I was looking for my own pleasure ahead of yours. It's a lot worse for me than anything you could ever do. I will never forgive myself because I had to protect you. I should have done better, and I'm really sorry. She turned to me, sitting on her lap, and kissed me. I didn't know that they had taken advantage of her, and I was angry that I had missed it. I was going to pay them back for what they did to her. Of course, she was walking behind my back, but no one deserves to be raped. That's what they did. They forced her to obey their will, and I was guilty of the same thing. What a fool I was. She pulled away and straddled me on her lap. I also have something to apologize for. I was the one who put myself in that position. I was the one who was looking for someone else to please. I should have come to you and talked. You were my husband, and I couldn't understand that all I had to do was talk to you and trust you. I was a fool too, and if you can forgive me, then there's no reason why I can't forgive you. She kissed me again with more passion. Please tell me that this means that you are mine forever. I mean what you said. I will never stop trying to get you back. She broke into a smile. It's too late, young lady. She frowned at my statement. You've already won me over. Now you won't be able to get rid of me even if you try. Christy held on to me for most of the morning. I think she was afraid that I would leave her. Maybe she was afraid that I would slip away and use one of her friends. It will probably never happen again. We were all sitting together in the living room when the conversation turned to what the future holds for John and Aaron. I'm going to divorce him. I only started cheating because he did it first. I want a husband as faithful as you, Paul. I want a man who loves me the way you love Christy. Michelle started crying. I saw the pain in her eyes. I wasn't always like that. About 6 months ago, I wasn't a good husband. No, Paul. Christy began, but I stopped her with a kiss and a smile. Listen to me, baby. I've been going to counseling for a long time. When I found out that you were cheating, I started to feel pretty depressed. The pain, anger, disappointment, and the need to see you every day, knowing what I knew, almost drove me to the edge. I could feel the tension in Christy's body. She squeezed my hand so hard that I thought she was going to break my fingers. My natural reaction was to pick her up and put her on my lap. She dissolved into me and held on to me. I wanted her to know that I wasn't even close to killing myself. It's all right, baby. I went to the doctor, and he helped me figure it all out. He also introduced me to Dr. Joyce. She really made me realize what I had done wrong. But I changed that, Christy said in horror. Yes, you did it. But I also had a hand in it. How? I forgot what marriage is. All 3 of them looked at me like I was crazy. In marriage, you are not only devoted to a person, you are devoted to his happiness and his desires. Dr. Joyce helped me understand something. They hung on every word. A happy wife does not cheat. Dr. Joyce asked all kinds of questions about how we make love and how I try to satisfy you. 2 weeks later, she told me what hurt the most. Paul, you're a lazy lover. You give up quickly, but in fact you don't even put a lot of effort into it to begin with. That's why she cheated on you. If you want her to come back, You have to make an effort. But I thought you were happy. Amanda looked at Christie in disbelief. Yes, I was. But then I got disappointed. Disappointment led to resentment. Then I got angry. That's when I decided to change. To tell you the truth, I wasn't thrilled. The only problem was that cheating didn't help anyone. In any case, it only made the situation worse. After the first few times, I felt guilty too. This only made my problem worse. That's when I decided to stop. And then John and Aaron blackmailed me into sleeping with them. It was my turn to flinch. Christie snuggled closer to me. When I saw you with them, I was so angry that I couldn't think straight. I abandoned my plan to get you back and got divorced. Last night, when you showed up, I was furious. Then I took advantage of you because of my anger. I woke up this morning and heard you telling a story about how they raped you. I clenched my fists. I had to beat the hell out of them, I said through gritted teeth. Yes, maybe I should have, but then we wouldn't have had a wonderful time last night. You'd be in jail, and Christie wouldn't be any closer to getting you back. Amanda was right. To hell with them. I'm not going to waste any more time thinking about these two. I want to continue my life with the love of my life. Christie kissed me. After all that had happened, I still genuinely loved her. I love you, Christie. I'm not perfect, but I promise to do everything in my power to make you happy. However, I will need help. You'll have to remind me from time to time. You're going to have to be honest and tell me what you want. Don't wait until it gets so frustrating that you can't stand it again. Just tell me, and I'll do my best to fix it. All I want right now is you and some pizza. I'm hungry. Yes, she was right. I wasn't going to waste a second worrying about those bastards. I was about to start a new life, and my woman was by my side. It's time to take care of our own happiness. Soon after that, Christie and I got married again. I still have insecurities and doubts, but she assures me every day that she loves me and only me. I try my best to first strive to make her happy and love her the way she deserves. We are happy and plan to expand our family. We sold the old house because Christie never liked it. When we got married, I told her to tell me when she was unhappy with something, and the house came first. We bought a bigger house, and Christie likes it. In fact, Michelle and Amanda abandoned their two unfaithful husbands. Sometimes we see Aaron, but he knows better than to approach us. Christie acts like he's not there. She wasn't joking when she said she wouldn't waste a second on them. John was labeled a cuckold in the city. I suppose if you let a guy run off with your fiancée on their wedding night, it'll ruin your reputation. He had to leave to avoid the ridicule he was under. Even his own mom and dad, who were at the wedding, lost respect for him. I introduced Michelle and Amanda to a couple of good guys from the gym where I still train. I gave them both a copy of Dr. Joyce's book, instructing them to read it carefully. I've never seen a bigger smile on two women in my life. Christie started working out with me at the gym. We like to spend time together. She's actually quite talented as a boxer, probably because of the red hair. I had to go through hell to get my life back, but it was worth it. Oh, yes, we never got to the cabin. It was a hell of a weekend,